Hi, it's Lynn and Bob. Welcome to Passport Wallet Phone, where we share our travel adventures far away and sometimes closer to home. In September 2025, we started our second Camino Francés in Saint-Jean-Pied-de-Port. We'd planned a slower Camino this time, averaging a little over 10 miles a day. In this video, we'll cover our walk from Roncesvalles to Puente la Reina. For this stretch, we walked the traditional Camino stages over 3 days. Every day was well over 10 miles, not exactly the slow Camino we had planned. Even with the longer days, this is a wonderful section of the Camino with so many iconic sites, starting right off with the Camino de Santiago marker in Roncesvalles.
September
6th, maybe? I don't know.
September 6th, 2025.
For day 3, we walked from Roncesvalles to Zubiri. This 21.5 kilometer or 13.4 mile trek took us through more beautiful Basque country before the infamous descent into Zubiri. Before leaving Roncesvalles, we waited in line for the must-take photos by the sign. It's the first time the destination appears on a signpost and an image we've seen so many times. It's exciting and a great start to the day. As the path leaves Roncesvalles, the Camino enters woods once said to be haunted by witches, the Sorganak of Basque legend. Near the end of the forest, a white stone monument reads Sorganritza, the witch's place. According to folklore, witches once gathered here for their aquelarres, nighttime rituals dedicated to nature and the ancient Basque goddess Mari. This is just one of many stories we learned along the Camino. After the forest, the Camino continues to Bergete, a charming town with a connection to Ernest Hemingway, who stayed here during his trout fishing trips in the 1920s. The Hotel Bergete still displays photos of his visit, a nod to the author who described this region vividly in The Sun Also Rises. The Camino continues through meadows and the villages of Espinal and Linsoain. Before Espinal, scattered among the trees, are small concrete bunkers, relics from the 1930s built under Franco's defensive line after the Spanish Civil War.
Day 3 on the Camino, we're in
Espinal.
Having our first cafe con leche. We've done
4.2, mine says.
4.2 miles today already. Another 11 to go.
Not 11, 9.
9 to go.
Good grief. The villages showcase traditional Basque architecture with whitewashed facades, red timber frames, and slate roofs built to withstand harsh winters. After Espinal, a narrow stream crosses the trail. Instead of a bridge, a line of sturdy stepping stones, a passerella, carries pilgrims from one bank to the other. It's one of those small, playful moments on the Camino, balancing pack and poles while hopping from stone to stone. Beyond Linsoain, the path begins a steady climb through forest and open meadows towards Puerto de Hierro, the day's high point. By the time we reached the top, the sun was warm, our legs were tired, and the sight of a small food truck felt like a gift. We dropped our packs, ordered cold drinks, and joined other pilgrims gathered around the tables. Then comes one of the Camino's most legendary descents, the steep, rocky trail towards Zubiri, nicknamed the Dragon's Teeth. The path drops sharply through the pine forest and over uneven stone, demanding focus with every step. It earned its name from the jagged rocks that jutted up like fangs, testing even seasoned hikers. When we walked this stretch, the teeth were still fully exposed. Just a couple weeks later, the trail was smoothed out, making it far easier for the pilgrims who followed. We're glad we experienced one of the last true Dragon's Teeth descents. The descent finally spills into the Arga Valley, where the sight of the medieval bridge signaled the end of the day. After checking into our hotel, we headed down to the river, slipped off our shoes, and soaked our feet in the cool, clear water. For day 4, we walked from Zubiri to Pamplona. This 20.4 kilometer or 12.7 mile stretch of the Camino follows the river Arga through peaceful farmland most of the day. But just outside Zubiri, the trail briefly passes the Magnesitas de Navarra mine. This huge industrial site feels almost surreal after days of quiet forest and villages. After leaving the industrial area, the path wanders through farmland and forest. We stop for a break at the lovely pilgrim rest area in the tiny hamlet of Ilrats. The Camino eventually climbs gently towards Acarreta, home of one of the most recognizable inns on this stage, well, at least for us, the Hotel Acarreta.
Here we are, day 4, September 7th?
Yep.
September 7th, 2025. We're standing in front of the hotel that was in the movie The Way, where Martin Sheen's character meets Sarah, who kind of gave him the boomer label. And pretty iconic. Everybody's walking by, nobody knows it but us, I guess. We're having a good time.
Leaving Acarreta, the Camino meanders along the river Arga, passing through small villages and shaded riverside paths. Just after Zurian, the Camino runs alongside the highway for a short stretch before slipping back onto quieter side roads. We took a break in Zabaldika where the Camino splits, one path climbing uphill to the Iglesia de San Esteban and the other continuing straight along the main road. The church was closed, so we followed the road instead, which meant a short climb up a set of stairs. A little further on, the two paths merge again and the Camino continues towards Pamplona. The first real sign of Pamplona appears at Villava and Are, where pilgrims cross the graceful Puente la Trinidad de Are, an elegant medieval stone bridge leading straight into an ancient monastery. It's one of the oldest crossings on the Camino. The final approach enters through the Portal de Francia, the medieval gate once used by pilgrims arriving from the Pyrenees. Passing beneath this stone arch feels like walking through time from rural Navarra into the heart of Old Town Pamplona. Don't forget to look behind you after you pass. Pamplona is a bit of a jolt to the senses after the quiet of the hills. The Old Town Center is full of cafes displaying their pinchos on the bar and colorful balconies with flags of the region. We walked to the 14th century Cathedral of Santa Maria la Real and explored the city a bit before calling it a day. For day 5, we walked from Pamplona to Puente la Reina, a 24-kilometer or 14.9 mile walk, one of our longest days on this Camino. Climbing out of Pamplona, the landscape opens into windswept hills. We stopped in Saracagui for a café con leche and a rest before the ascent to Alto de Perdón. We visited the village's small church of St. Andres, which is also where Sarah meets Yost for the first time in the way. So naturally, I sat on the low wall by the church just like Sarah, a quiet nod to our favorite Camino movie before we shouldered our packs and began the climb. The path rose steadily towards Alto del Perdón, the hill of forgiveness, crowned with the metal silhouettes of pilgrims and the inscription where the path of the wind meets the path of the stars. According to legend, this place was once where pilgrims laid down more than backpacks, sorrows, old grudges, and prayers for pardon. When we reached the top, a film crew was shooting the new Italian Buen Camino movie. We paused while they filmed to catch our breath and watch the action.
Hello, here we are, day 5.
pilgrim figures were draped in fabric, whipping wildly in the wind, transforming the familiar monument into something almost alive. It was a completely different experience from our first Camino, but still unforgettable. From here, the trail begins its long descent, winding past small villages and open fields towards Puente la Reina, where another of the Camino's most iconic landmarks awaits. The trail then descends through medieval villages like Uterga, Maruzabal, and Obanos before arriving at Puente la Reina, the town built for pilgrims. Its name means the Queen's Bridge, referring to the 11th century stone bridge that still carries pilgrims across the River Arga. The bridge is at the far end of town. It's the last thing you'll see leaving Puente la Reina. With mountain villages, enchanted forests, and medieval bridges, this stretch of the Camino condenses centuries of history and beauty into just a few days. It's where many pilgrims first feel the rhythm of the Camino, a blend of solitude, community, and wonder.